Hi, lovely souls. Every time I record this episode, I'm not crazy about some of the things that I'm saying, so I am gonna hope that this is the one that I post. This is a little unusual, a little different than the topics that I usually post about, but I want to open that door and I want to diminish the stigma and the negative associations, the taboo-ness of sex. And I want to openly talk about it because I feel like it's not talked about enough. And there's a lot of shame around the idea of that when it's the reason that we exist. Of course, there had to be, I am a very spiritual person, so it had to start somewhere, but there's a reason that, you and I exist right now. So I'm going to open up this conversation about sex and hopefully encourage everybody to talk more about it because I personally don't think it's talked about enough. I mean, I remember talking about sex when, well, no, I guess it was more so transition and puberty in 6th grade, and then 8th grade there was a half a semester of a class that I took about sex. It's fucking crazy. It's not talked about enough, especially when it comes to females receiving pleasure in this way. I have to share, I have a not so typical story, I believe. I also have to be honest, I haven't talked about sex a lot with a lot of girlfriends. I have a lot of amazing, lovely soul family online that I've met, but the people that I hang out with in 5D in the physical are usually dudes, and I don't stray away from this topic either. It's just strictly platonic between me and my dude friends, but I have to say there's not a lot that we have in common that we can talk about because it's from the other perspective. So I want to talk about my experience, and the reason I am thinking about this was because I was journaling earlier and I am stepping into a newfound sort of sexual liberation for myself. And I'll talk about that a little later. But the reason that this was on my mind was because I want every woman to feel sexy and powerful and empowered to ask for what they want and get what they want because we fucking deserve it. I mean, men, y'all are cool. Women are, of course, we're all equals, but we're fucking awesome. What can we say? We create life, all right? And so months back, I was invited to a friend's bonfire where I was meeting new friends, and there were 4 girls around the circle with their partners, and they were talking about faking orgasms, and I was like, whoa, people do this? I thought it was something that was only, on TV, in movies. I didn't know that it was a thing. And this is also, I am not trying to shame or guilt any women, anybody out there. There's no shame in your game, whatever you do, whatsoever. All right? Everything that's happening is perfect. You're perfect. And I really genuinely mean that. So at the bonfire, I was surprised. So I want to talk about my story, which, listening to their feedback, is a fairly unusual one. So I'm going to go back and talk about my first relationship. Sorry, dude. If you're hearing this, I'm sorry. So with my first relationship, I was dating someone for 3 years in high school. We both started dating when we were 16, and I definitely wanted to wait to have intercourse. My stepmom was a role model for me at that time, and I really looked up to her. And she had advised me to wait until I was 18, and I actually did take her advice. If it was if it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't have listened. But I did wait until I was 18. But before that, my partner was, eager to start exploring this realm, this chapter of our lives. And I was a little hesitant. I was fairly self-conscious, not knowing what the heck I was doing. I mean, which is normal. And I was also really nervous about hurting him, because I had braces, so I was really nervous uh about that. And is a low-key fear of mine still that I'm saying for the first time now. But anyway, I waited a little bit to do that, but he had no problem giving me that favor. So he basically went down on me 2 months before I went down on him because I was just not ready yet. And it's funny, we would joke about it before, and he would say, it's the best 2 months of your life. And it was awesome. I don't feel guilty about it. I was just not ready. I was a little baby child who didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And I'm honestly very thankful for those 2 months, because I was able to finish when that would happen, and I had zero obligation to fake it. Since the energy that was put into that was for me, I didn't have much obligation to fake it. And that is kind of one that was a experience for me to learn more about my sexuality and what I like and what makes me feel good. So that was a good learning opportunity for me, mostly. And ever since then, I mean, I've just never felt obligated myself. And I know what it feels like to come I was gonna say come to completion, but that, no pun intended. But I knew what it felt like. I knew that is what I wanted to feel after me and my partner, you know, explore each other's energies. It's an amazing feeling, and it's one that you cannot deny once it happens to you. So that is my first experience. I want to say that. And I do want to say that this partner, uh, when we broke up, I had no idea how to do this for myself. I feel like that's another unusual trait is, when you are reaching that age of sexual maturity and you are curious and starting to masturbate. I feel like masturbation also is very another taboo topic. So silly. And it's more for men. You don't really hear about women talking about masturbating. You mostly hear about men. So men know how to finish, right? And you definitely know when that happens. There is, there's an indicator there. It's just a little different with women. And our parts, you know, we obviously have different parts. Our parts are more complicated. Our parts are like this beautiful flower that doesn't get enough attention, not as much attention as the other one, okay? And that might not be in every case either. I mean, I'm coming from very limited perspective and just sharing as much as I possibly know about. Not all of everything I know about, but you know what I mean. So the masturbation topic, I don't think that women talk about it enough. And when my first boyfriend and I broke up, I had no idea how to do that for myself. Every time I came was because my partner at that time had helped me do that. So now that I don't have that anymore, I didn't know what to do with myself. So maybe around like the age of 20, I finally was able to do that for myself. And let me tell you, I felt so fucking liberated. I felt like I could do anything. I don't need no man. All I need is my hand. And it was amazing. It's an amazing feeling to be able to do that all on your own, and it's very liberating. It's like when you get your driver's license and you're like, "Hey, I can go out on the road now. I can drive myself anywhere I want to go." So, I do want to say that it took me forever to figure out even what I like, what I can do to get that point with myself. And I do want to say I am a very direct, honest person, and I'm not afraid of sharing with my partner or much of anybody what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. I'm not one to shy away from something because it makes other people feel uncomfortable. I actually love talking about things that make other people uncomfortable. I thrive in it. So I guess that's why I'm posting this. But it's 100% not to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I just want to open that door to have this conversation casually, because I mean, so many people can relate, right? I mean, maybe not relate to my situation, but sex resonates, you know? It is how people are brought into this world. So I wanted to say that if you are someone who hasn't had that feeling, or doesn't know what it's like, or doesn't know what they like, I really urge you to discover what you like. Because if you don't know what you like, how can you expect your partner to know what you like? I, as a woman, previously depended a lot on my partner reading my mind. And that's not necessarily possible for everybody. Maybe you're someone who is really in touch spiritually and can read other people's minds, but I think that is a very small percentage. So, ladies, this is also more so a conversation for straight couples, I believe. I think if women were with other women, I think that, you know, they have the same parts. I feel like it would be more intuitive. And so this is more so the straight conversation. I also haven't had experiences with women, so I can't really talk to that point as much or at all. So as a woman, ladies, I really encourage you to experiment with yourselves, figure out what you like, so that you're able to communicate that to your partner, because your partner wants you to feel good. Your partner probably, I mean, feels pretty good. I mean, the assumption is they finish every time, right? That's when sex ends, is when they finish. But I am going to disagree with that. Sex is over when you're finished. I don't count this person as someone, I don't count them as on my list because there was zero intention of this person making me finish. And I refused. It's like, this is not a one-way street. I know what it feels like, and I want to experience that sensation. The actual activity of it and having sex and the before is great as well. But the finale, I watch a movie for a good ending. You know what I mean? So that is my advice for you ladies, is to learn more about yourself. And learn what you like. That way, when you can communicate with your partner and be like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I need. And, you'll be able to enjoy it more. Thus, your partner will be able to enjoy it more, and it'll just be a way cooler experience. And for men who are listening to this potentially, make sure your lady is satisfied. I can imagine that through penetration alone, there would be some faking it, Personally, what I like, right, is someone going down on me. I need that clitoral stimulation. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. And I feel like that could just be a thing that might not just apply to me. So, fellas, and women, if you can fucking finish through penetration alone, I applaud you. But there might need to be some other action or thing going on, or maybe even with the foreplay. Like the foreplay, that's really where I get off. So sometimes I finish before my partner, sometimes I finish after my partner. So, but the key for me is the end goal. And if it feels good for you and you don't come, then that's perfectly fine. Anything everything is perfect, right? But if you're someone who maybe doesn't want to rock the boat, doesn't want to make their men feel insecure about themselves, men, this is nothing to feel insecure about. Don't shy away from expressing yourself, because if we want something more and we are too shy or scared to express our feelings to our partner, we are not honoring ourselves. So a huge part of this podcast episode is to empower you ladies to honor yourselves, because I can see how, maybe if a man does finish and he's like, oh, I'm fucking tired or whatever, or it just is lasting so long, why a woman would want to fake it just so that she can get it over with, which is sad, but I understand that 100%. But if you're someone who's looking for more, don't be afraid to ask for more either. It is your partner. Your partner wants you to feel good too. And for the partners, follow up with your lady. Ask your lady what they like. See if you guys want to explore different things. And this is my apologies for the transitions, friends, but if you are someone who doesn't necessarily feel sexual or doesn't feel sexy or wanting to explore this realm as much, but wants to feel that way, I honestly me and my partner would go a long time without exchanging our energies, to put it in other words. And I wasn't feeling good about myself. I think that was why I wasn't feeling the urge, was because I wasn't feeling sexy, I wasn't feeling confident. I was just feeling gross and really really fucking hard on myself. So if you feel like this resonates with you, I highly recommend, this is what I do honestly, is I go in front of my mirror and I stand in front of it naked and I look at myself and I say, oh my God, Lizzie, you're so sexy, you're so hot, you're amazing, you're a goddess warrior queen, you're fucking amazing, and you're a fucking goddess. Even for men, if you want to rearrange those pronouns there. But if you are going through a dry spell or more of a lull in your sexual life, I do want to say that that's completely normal. I I was going through that for a long time, and who's to say that I won't go through that again? But feeling empowered and feeling sexy in my body really has helped me, for sure. And I'm not some sort of deviant. Not that that's a bad thing either. I mean, fucking wave that freak, let your freak flag fly. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with anything. And I really don't want this to be a shame towards anybody, towards women who aren't able to finish or men who aren't able to do that for their women. This is more so opening the conversation so that we can talk about this stuff more regularly. I mean, if there's new things to try, wouldn't we want to know about it? Wouldn't we want to know more about exploring each other's energies? So I hope that this helped you. It's definitely something different to talk about, but it's something that I feel really inspired to share as well. And if I'm still on a hiatus from Instagram, but if you do want to message me, I will respond. It just won't be soon. Please message me, connect with me on Instagram, Lizzie B Pollinator, LIZZIEBEE Pollinator. And I am so here as a non-judgmental ear. If you ever, I'm not saying I'm a professional in this sort of thing at all, but if you need someone to talk to, or I guess advice, please let me know. I'm here for you. I love each and every one of you, and let's just live our best lives together, you know, and get off. But I appreciate everybody listening to this. This is a little different. Let me know what you think about this sort of thing. But yeah, thank you again for listening. I love you all so much. I hope you have an amazing day or night wherever you are.